Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to welcome you to Juiceland TV. Well, man, I didn't even plan to go live today, but I was on the internet, just ripping and rambling, and I came across something, and I'm playing it, and I'm listening to it, and I'm saying to myself, man, that's the type of shit right there. That like I fell victim to this shit too. Like after realizing about 8 minutes where he was going with it, I'm like, man, I kind of got heated for a little second, and then I'm like, nah, I'm gonna chill out because if I wouldn't have went through what I went through, that wouldn't make, I wouldn't be the man that I am today. You know what I'm saying? But it's still crazy, man, and it's really fucked up how they did us, how they're still doing us. And when I say they, I'm not talking about any race or nothing like that. I just mean like people in particular, like the people that who are doing it to us, And now, like we doing it to ourselves, man. It's it's crazy. But I'm gonna go ahead and run this program for y'all, man. It's 11 minutes or 12 minutes top. But I'm gonna run it and see what y'all get out of it. Cause I feel like, y'all need to hear it.
Of the letter is the secret meeting that changed rap music and destroyed a generation.
Damn.
So it says, hello. After more than 20 years, I finally decided to tell the world what I witnessed in 1991, which I believe was one of the biggest turning points in popular music and ultimately American society. I have struggled for a long time weighing the pros and cons of making my story public, as I was reluctant to implicate the individuals who were present that day. So I've simply decided to leave out the names and all the details that may risk my personal well-being and that of those who were, like me, dragged into something they weren't ready for.
Damn.
Hold on, let me
So we gonna tell a story.
We gonna tell the story. We ain't scared.
You know what I'm saying? What they gonna do?
They after us, not just playing.
Look, that black van.
So look, so he says, between the late 80s and early 90s, I was what you may call a decision maker with.
And y'all, let me tell y'all, when y'all listen to this, when y'all listening to this, like open your minds. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to talk too much because I want y'all to like fully get what this man is saying. And it's really crazy. They might try to strike my page for this, but I don't care, as long as I can get it out. That's if you didn't see it already. Most of y'all probably seen it already, but I know I'm long with this, so I'm gonna shut the hell up and let y'all Take all this in.
One of the more established companies in the music industry. I came to Europe in the early 80s and quickly established myself in the business. The industry was different back then, since technology and media weren't accessible to people like that, like they are today. The industry had more control over the public and had the means to influence them any way it wanted.
Right.
This may explain why in early 1991, I was invited to attend a closed-door meeting with a small group of business insiders to discuss rap music's new direction. Rap music's new direction.
Yeah.
Little did I know we would be asked to participate in one of the most unethical and destructive business practices ever seen.
Crazy.
So this was the meeting. The meeting was held at a private residence on the outskirts of Los Angeles. I remember about 25 to 30 people were being there.
Right.
Most of them familiar faces. Speaking of those I knew, we joked about the theme of the meeting, as many of us did not care for rap and failed to see the purpose of being invited to a private meeting to discuss the future of hip hop.
Talk to him.
Among the attendees was a small group of unfamiliar faces who stayed to themselves and made no attempt to socialize beyond their circle. Based on their behavior and formal appearances, they didn't seem to be from our industry.
Again, man, y'all got to sit down and listen to where he going with this, because he going somewhere with this.
Our casual chatter was interrupted when we were asked to sign the confidentiality agreement, preventing us from publicly discussing the information presented during the meeting. Needless to say, this intrigued, in some cases, disturbed many of us. The agreement was only a page long, but very clear on matters and consequences, which stated that violating the terms would result in job termination immediately. We asked several people what this meeting was about and the reason for such secrecy, but could not find anyone who had the answers for us. A few people refused to sign and walked out. Nobody stopped them. I was tempted to follow, but curiosity got the best of me.
That's right.
A man who was part of the unfamiliar group collected all the agreements from us. So now it's going to get to the good part because the meeting about to start.
Talk to him, Jake.
It says, quickly after the meeting began, hold on one second.
Get your popcorn, y'all.
Popcorn, get your pistol. No,
for real though.
Quickly after this meeting began, one of the industry colleagues, who shall remain nameless like everybody else, thanked us for attending. He then gave the floor to a man who only introduced himself by first name and gave no other details about his personal background. I think he was the owner of the residence, but that was never confirmed. He briefly praised all of us for the success we had achieved in our industries and congratulated us for being selected as part of this small group of decision makers. At this point, I began to feel slightly uncomfortable and the strangeness of this gathering. The subject quickly changed as the speaker went on to tell us that the respective companies we represented had invested in a very profitable industry, which could become even more rewarding with our active involvement.
Damn.
He explained that the companies we worked for had invested millions into the building of privately owned prisons, and that our positions of influence in the music industry would actually impact the profitability of these investments. Then he says, I remember many of us in the group immediately looking at each other in awe and confusion. At the same time, I didn't know what a private prison was, but I wasn't the only one. Sure enough, someone asked what these prisons were and what any of this had to do with music. We were told that these prisons were built by privately owned companies who receive funding from the government based on the number of inmates.
Mm-hmm.
The more inmates, the more the government would pay these prisons.
Mm-hmm.
It was also made clear to us that since these prisons are privately owned, as they become publicly traded, we'd be able to buy shares. Most of us were taken back by this. Again, a couple of people asked what this had to do with us. At this point, my industry colleague who had first opened the meeting took the floor again and answered our questions. He told us that since our employees had become solid investors in this prison business, it was now in their interest to make sure that these prisons remain filled. Our job would be to help make this happen by making music which promote criminal behavior, rap being the music of choice.
So, like, shit like that, that's entrapment, dog. Like, real talk. And they had their eyes set on us the whole time. What they did is no different from what they did in the 80s. Like, when they brought the drugs in, you know what I'm saying? Probably before the 80s, you know? And that shit is crazy, man, because, I mean, like, we all human. Only different is our, you know, the skin of our color. So why would you want to, you know, do something to us like that? You know, it ain't a problem until it start hitting where y'all stay at. You know what I'm saying? That's fucked up.
He assured us that this would be a great situation for us because rap music was becoming an increasingly profitable market for our companies. And as employees, we'd also be able to buy stocks in these prisons. Immediately, silence came over the room. You could have heard a pin drop. I remember looking around to make sure I wasn't dreaming and saw half of the people with dropped jaws. My daze was interrupted when someone shouted, "Is this a fucking joke?" At this point, things became chaotic.
Right.
Two of the men who were part of the unfamiliar group grabbed the man who shouted and attempted to remove him from the house. A few of us, myself included, tried to intervene. One of them pulled out a gun, and we all backed off. They separated us from the crowd, and all four of us was escorted outside. My industry colleague who opened up the meeting earlier hurried out to meet us and reminded us that we had signed an agreement and would suffer the consequences of speaking out about this publicly or even those who attended the meeting.
Damn.
I asked him, why was he involved with something so corrupt? And he replied, it's bigger than the music business and nothing we can do. And no, it's bigger than the music business and nothing we want to challenge without risking consequences. We all protested as we walked back into the house. I remember word for word the last thing he said. It's out of my hands now. Just remember you signed an agreement. He then closed the door behind him. The men rushed us to our car and actually waited until we drove off the property.
Damn.
So this meeting, bro.
Now that's a lot for a meeting right there.
Oh yeah, definitely. You know, and this person later on, he said, you know, this person actually ended up leaving the music industry after this happened. With a few years after this, he ended up leaving the music industry.
Okay.
And he said he just, like, you know, over the years he just felt guilty because he said as he sat back and he watched these plans come to a reality
over 2 decades,
he sat back and was like, wow, they really pulled it off.
Yeah,
they really pulled this off. He was like, they were told not to sign any more political rappers.
Oh, hold on.
Any more rappers that had messages in their music.
Positivity.
It was all to be gangster rap music that they
now peep this out right
promoted
here,
and put out.
So if you wonder where Brand Nubians went, where Pro Righteous Teachers went, where Public Enemy went, where KRS-One went, and all sorts of groups like that was talking, yeah. Even Queen Latifah and Moni Love and those, you know,
everybody that had a message in their music, man, they shut them off, man. They shut them out. You know what I'm saying? They even took some of them out, you know, like Pimp C, you know, he started talking a lot about the Illuminati and shit, couple months, couple of years or whatever, shit, he was dead. Tupac, same thing. He started, you know, shedding some light on that shit. You know what I'm saying? Speaking out. Shit, next thing you know, he was dead. You know, like when I first watched this video, I'm thinking to myself, like, damn, bro. Like, that shit crazy, because I became a victim to that shit because I was one of them niggas now. And I still do listen to rap music. You know, I'm not gonna sit up here and lie and say I don't. I still do. But my mind frame now is bigger and greater. You know what I'm saying? To be listening to it and go and do the things that they be talking about. You know what I'm saying? It's like Rick Ross, hustle hard. You know, push it to the limit. Man, you got niggas hearing that shit, hustling, really hustling hard and pushing it to the limit. You know what I'm saying, nigga? They winding up dead. They winding up in the feds. They winding up in prison, jail. You know what I'm saying? All behind these motherfuckers' greed. They want to make more money on top of that. They don't want us here. So they plant that seed and they use our people against us, man. And that's crazy, bro. And you know, some of the people knew what was going on and still bit into it, you know. You know, long as they family good and shit like that, it's like I heard a interview with Young Jeezy. What he said, he said his kid is not going to sell dope. His kid going to college. But yet, you getting on the CD telling niggas to hustle and be snowman and all that shit. You know what I'm saying? Mr. 85 and all that shit there. It's crazy. But man, it's this video right here. They have another video to this video and it gets even deeper. I don't know if I want to play it because I don't want them to strike my channel. I'm just I ain't even got it off the ground yet. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get it up off the ground, but I mean, nigga trying to put his how can I say it? I'm trying to right my wrongs for my or my rights for my wrongs or however you say that shit, you know, because I did a whole bunch of shit. I was a dope boy. You know, I ran the streets. I did everything you could imagine, and some things you can't imagine. You know what I'm saying? And now I'm trying to make up for it. And to the youth, man, like, don't wait till you're 30. Don't wait till you're like 30 something years old to try to catch up. You know what I'm saying? Shit, you young man, you might as well do what you gotta do now, bro, because it's gonna be hard for you, man. And if you don't have that piece of paper, that certificate, or you ain't got your diploma or your GED, it's gonna be even harder for you, man. So shit, stay in school, man. Do what you gotta do, man, and stop all this foolishness and madness, man. Real talk. But that shit ain't about nothing.
Anybody.
It's a back door.
Yeah, anything that was harmless, fun rap, you know, anything that had a message in it had to go.
Yeah, that's why if you even notice though,
now we talk about that all the time.
Even be brief with it, you know what I'm saying? Those charms that came out like maybe 1988, 89, the African charms, those they lasted for about 2 years and they disappeared real quick. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely. Now, after reading all this, you know, it actually made me feel a few different ways. The first emotion I felt was shocked because I was definitely taken back by this, just knowing the level of evil that's involved by even thinking of a plan like this. You know what I'm saying? The second emotion I felt was anger because it's not enough for them to exploit our culture and make all the money off of it. Because let's keep it real, the industry has never been favorable towards the artists. Never. But they're going to go beyond the artists to get the artist to influence and lure in the consumer, which they knew at the time were mainly minorities.
Yep.
In other words, keep promoting gangster rap so that the youngsters will be influenced by them, which in turn will incite them to want to act like them. And it's a very good chance they'll end up in their prison.
Yeah.
So they're getting paid twice. They're getting paid from the artists they signing, and then they're getting paid from the people that these artists influence that goes to prison trying to be like these artists.
Yeah.
So they making a killing.
A killing.
They're using the music business to promote their private prison business.
My man is right there talking that right. 1988, a man named Tom Beasley, man. That's the co-founder of the the corrections for Corporation of America. That's the CCA. You know what I'm saying? Excuse my French. I'm reading this thing right there real quick. It's the CCA. So in 1988, he founded that, and this is in straight concert with the same thing. So it's like the music business. You do what you do on your side, and over here with the correction facilities, we're gonna do on this side, because in 1970 there was 500 prisons. You know what I'm saying? Only 500 prisons in the United States. To this day, there's 1,700 prisons right now. That means big business. I'm talking about that done flippled over. You know what I'm saying? If flippled over is a word, because they're making a lot of money off of these things per inmate. You know what I'm saying? So getting with the same thing of the music, it all went hand in hand, and we just partying at the same time.
So us as the artists is the tool they use.
Yeah.
The music is the bait. Yep. And the young consumers are the prey. It's a cold game.
Cold game, bro.
Cold game. Then I feel sad. Sad because everything we seem to try to create, we always seem to give it away. We're always being tricked and deceived into believing that they have our best interests at hand, when clearly they never have, and they never will. They never will have our best interests at hand. It's blow after blow after blow after blow.
All right, y'all, man. That was crazy, man.
Do you want to grow your YouTube channel? Do you want to earn more views, more subscribers?
You know, that's sad how they did that to us like that, man. And it's still going on to this day. You know, I mean, look at NBA Youngboy, allegedly. Now I really can't say his name like that, but look at him. You know what I'm saying? Look at, like, they got a whole bunch of rappers and they're young, bro. They're young-minded. And they see this money that they ain't never had before, you know, and shit, they shine on a dotted line and make this music. And I'm not gonna lie, the music, you know, some of the music sound good, you know, great masterpiece. But for these young kids to be going out there and doing stuff like that, man, it's crazy. It's like, you know, the old folks in the neighborhood, they scared to come outside. Oh, they scared to do anything, you know. They don't want to even talk to a youngster or look at a youngster the wrong way, because they feel like, you know, if they do, it's gonna be a problem. And these old folks don't want them problems, man. They just want to just chill and live their life. They don't work all their life, you know what I'm saying? They didn't retire. The people that probably, you know, yank them a little bit out of their retirement and all that, you know what I'm saying? All they want to do is relax, man, and just chill, bro. You know, it's crazy, bro. It's like that saying they say, make it make sense. Well, he made that make a lot of sense, and that's just allegedly. I don't know if that really happened, but I think it did. You know what I'm saying? I really think it did. I truly believe it did, man. That's why I said, bro, we got to do better. And I'm all for changing and trying to uplift, you know, my young generation. Oh, when I was that age of coming up, you know, I didn't want to hear nothing neither. I didn't want to hear nothing nobody said. You know, nobody of my family members, unless you was a gangster. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, if he was an old gangster ass nigga and he told me something, you know, and that was the rules and the code in the street I lived, and I would have died by that. You know what I'm saying? The crazy part is that my mama or my daddy would have told me some shit like that. I'd have been looking at them like, man, go ahead on with that, man. You know, I had to grow up and become a man and change my way of thinking. You know, I can see things different now. I can see things that I wasn't seeing when I was in my teens. You know what I'm saying? 15, 16, 17, 20, 21, 22. You know, I can see things different now, you know, and I definitely see the things that I was told about, that the things I didn't want to listen to, you know. When I was in prison, a lot of things my people told me, man, when I was laying in the bed at night, man, a lot of that shit came across my head, man. I thought about that shit, man. Like a lot of that shit, man, just about everything. You know, and the only thing I can say is, God damn, they was right all along. You used to tell me it was gonna catch up. It's gonna catch up to you, you know. Yeah, man, but running around listening to that music, man, getting drugged up. The drugs making me feel the music even more, and that's what I was rolling with, you know. So that's why I say I fell a victim to it too. Yeah, I did. I fell a victim to it too, man. They got this other video, man. I'm debating if I won't play it. Well, you know what? Fuck it, we gonna go ahead and let that bitch rock. Now this is another video. It's basically the same thing, but it's a little more deeper. He get in a little bit more details. And that video like 11 to 12 minutes. After that, I'm gonna shut it down. You know what I'm saying? Because them people be playing all type of games. You know what I'm saying? And shit, I ain't trying to do nothing but live righteous, live for God, be there for my family, take care of my family. You know, with me doing this here shit, they might try to bring some problems to my doorstep. Real shit.
More watch time. And of course,
absolutely. We seen Deshaun Jackson not even a week prior to this go through the same thing in the NFL. We seen the Cannon go through it. But this is a conversation that's been happening through the music industry, whether it be conversations formulated, whatever it may be. But we all know who owns the music industry, who owns the labels, who owns the publishing and things like that. They don't like us to talk about it. So can you kind of just dive into your experiences within the music industry and how this correlates to what everything we're seeing right now?
Yeah, man, you know, it's real. You know, we did an episode on my podcast, Truth Talks, where we talked about.
It's so real, man. It's like when I'm looking at these cats look like they really scared to look like they scared to speak, man. Like for real, it looked like this, but we'll see, bro. By the way I'm looking at them, it really looks like they're scared to speak, man. But you know, they got enough heart to step up and speak to us and put it all out on the line. You know what I'm saying? So I salute them for that.
A secret meeting that was held in regards of the direction that hip hop would go. And because you know some of the major labels were investing in private prisons. So
and like I say, this video, it's kind of like the same, you know, it's kind of like the same thing that we just watched. It just going into more details.
So you know, we spoke about how they made sure that gangster rap was pushed to the forefront more than any other genre of hip hop at the time, to basically influence the youth into committing crimes and living a gangster life or a thug life or whatnot. You know what I'm saying? We were all basically tricked, man. You know what I'm saying? What we thought we were expressing ourselves and getting frustration off our chest about the way we were forced to live in these ghettos and in the slums. And at the same time, they're the ones that took our lifestyles and they glamorized it. They put the lights and the cameras behind it and said, look, like this looks attractive, don't it? You know what I'm saying? But we were simply like, yo, this is where we come from. This is what we had to go through. It wasn't the fact that we were glamorizing it, because in a lot of our songs, we told people, like, you know, we glad we not living that life no more. It wasn't fun. You know what I'm saying? We was forced to live that way, but when we got up out of it, we started to try like to turn around and like do positive things. And, you know, that's one thing I feel like people need to know. It was, you know, when they asked what happened to all the conscious rappers, that's what happened to them. Because they made it a point to make sure that those kind of messages and this kind of rap music would not be acceptable to the fans anymore. If it's not violent, we're not gonna push it. If it has a message, if you're trying to educate the people, we're not having it. We want them listening to strictly nonsense, nothing that's going to be dangerous to us. We don't want any uprisings because they understood the power that Tupac possessed.
And what he mean by that is they don't want us to join forces. They don't want us to come together because they know if we come together as one, stand as one, man, it ain't nothing they can do with us, dog. Real talk. It ain't nothing they can do with us. You know, what we ought to do is start helping one another. You know, pulling one up when one down. You know what I'm saying? Scratching each other's back. You know, you scratch my back, I scratch yours. You know, we doing a lot of kicking each other while we down. And we ain't doing nothing but hurting ourselves. We are wiping ourselves off the face of the earth. And the police ain't doing nothing but killing us as well and letting us see that we don't mean shit to them because we can kill y'all on camera, allegedly, and get away with it. You know, we got to start thinking smarter. We got to start rolling harder together, though.
Mm-hmm. That's why they were probably happy when he was gone, because it was like we almost had a Malcolm X on a way bigger level.
Real talk. And they didn't want that. They did not want that.
Behind hip hop, it would have been times 10.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So it was like, so after Tupac, it was basically like, okay, we dodged that. We need to change it, get rid of conscious rap. So what they do, let's make sure these dudes get them niggas a couple of dollars.
Mm-hmm.
Give them a couple of dollars, make them forget that it's even a problem. You know what I'm saying? And that's basically what happened. They started giving us all this money, and you know, people started to it was no longer about the struggle, it was about me. It's all about me. You know what I'm saying? And that's where we at now. And that's why no messages get through the youth right now, because the record industry has programmed this way of music getting out to the youth, to where it's only one genre of hip hop that's reaching them. Mm-hmm. They've narrowed it down. You have to sound like what's on the radio right now and talk about what they're talking about in order to see any success. That's bottom line, with a few exceptions. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we've been going through this. Like I said, Nick Cannon wasn't really saying nothing wrong. He just said something that they didn't want to hear. Bottom line.
Yeah.
Right. Could you speak about that? You talked about, you know, I actually listened to that conversation.
And I'm gonna tell you, man, like, this may be boring to you, you know, because you may feel like you have things you have to do. You know what I'm saying? You may feel like, shit, man. Yeah, I don't want to watch that, man. I got this to do. I got that to do, man. I'm telling you from experience, man. You need to sit down and listen to this. Watch this. If it ain't on my channel, go find it on another channel. You know what I'm saying? And watch it. I just want you to watch it. I want you to hear it. I want you to take in what's really is going on. Like what's really happening to us. You know, what they're really doing to us. You know what I'm saying? I want you to sit down and take all that in, because, I mean, man, that's directed for us. It's directed for us, to us, and it's been happening to us. For real.
Today, and you also talked about, you know, the rappers promoting criminality, but can you talk about them promoting the drug use too, and pushing that on people, and now wanting kids to try lean, Xanax, and all types of Molly and stuff like that?
Yeah, man. It's like crazy the level of deaths we see from like you know, these drug overdoses, and it's like, and some of these young kids, these young artists, they have pre-existing mental you know, issues,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and these labels, you know, they don't take any of that into consideration when they're giving them these deals and get them all this money, and they're not guiding them at all. There is no guidance. There is no blueprint. It's just like it's all over the place right now, and anything goes. And you know, I'm not gonna sit here and be a hypocrite. We talked about like marijuana.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? We talked about drinking, and we talked about occasionally doing ecstasy or whatever. But we did those things like you know, when you're young, you're gonna experiment. We did those things separately. We didn't sit there and try to do every damn drug ever invented at the same time. You know what I'm saying? Because that's only gonna end up in tragedy.
Up in the
You know what I'm
ground.
saying? Like,
Yeah.
so it's like somebody got to get at these youngsters and tell them, man, you know, like it ain't like you can lose your life, and then everything you work for to get to this point is done.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just to me, it's a lack of leadership, and it's a lack of positive role models out there that's not scared to step up, and not just gonna sit back and scared to be ridiculed because you speak out against what everybody else is doing. There's nothing wrong with being different.
Right. Could you talk about, you go a little bit deeper into the prison industrial complex and how these labels and stuff, you know, that they buy stocks in it, but they also.
All right, right here, y'all got to pay close attention because it's about to get real deep. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying not to talk too much because, like I said, I want y'all to take all of this in, and I want this to hit somewhere up here. I want it to hit. I want it to hit somewhere right here, and I want it to hit somewhere right here. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and then you might be mindful of the things you do or the people you listen to. Like I said, it ain't nothing wrong with listening to rap music. It only gets wrong is when you live by the guidelines and start doing the things that you hear. You know what I'm saying? Like these rappers, I mean, they come out there, they wearing skinny jeans, you know, not a half of the world wearing skinny, the whole world probably wearing skinny. You mean to tell me you gonna wear something tight on your ass like females and think it's cool? Nah, man, not me. I got to wear something baggy like I've been wearing.
Will feed, you know, the prison industrial complex through these artists, and on the back end, reap the benefits through the prisons and the kids going to prison through the criminality. Could you link that entire?
Oh yeah, man. So the labels are getting paid both ways. You know what I'm saying? They're getting paid off they were getting paid off the gangster music that they were promoting to the urban youth, and they were getting paid when the urban youth was being influenced by this music, going out committing crimes and ending up in their prisons that they had stock invested in. You know what I'm saying? So they were killing it on both ends. You know, and it's the trap, and it was just a trap all the way around, and we had no idea what it was. Like I said, we were simply expressing ourselves in our art form, but they took it to a whole nother level of evil. You know what I'm saying? I say a whole nother level of evil, and just had to keep their slave mentality over us this whole time. Through it all, through everything we've done, man, they've always had to have some type of control over what we've done, even if we created it. They've always had to come in and somehow feel like they had to be the overseers or the supervisors of what we do. When we really don't need that, because we created it. We know damn well how to operate it.
Right.
Hey, man,
how come you don't see, because you've seen a lot of hip hop entertainers throughout time evolve into a very high tax bracket, billionaire status, high millionaire status, but we don't see that transition in the banks. We don't see that transition in the certain avenues where we know Black people as a culture are lacking, and we need those certain systems in order to operate properly and just to have some kind of power structure within this game. How come we don't see more of that, in your opinion, when it comes to the higher power up in hip hop and us as a people?
Man, because we gotta quit holding back and calling these people out for what it is, because people ain't coming together. When they get this, when they accumulate this, they don't come together and they don't try to educate the people coming from behind them. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like if Black lives is gonna matter, it got to matter all the way around.
Mm-hmm.
It got to matter with the police. It got to matter with Black on Black crime. It got to matter within the music industry. It has to matter within the entertainment industry. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, I really don't like, you know, that word Black owned record label really don't mean nothing to me, because like these Black owned labels, they don't sign these Black artists and they don't teach them the business. They don't teach them what not to do to get caught up. They do the same thing to them that was done to them.
Yeah.
And they take advantage of these artists instead of educating them. They do the same thing that the slave master did. You know what I'm saying? So it's like
cold world, man.
Like,
cold world, bro.
We got all that has to change. All that has to change. You have to keep passing it down to the next generation. You can't just hold it to yourself, because you're gonna die one day. You can't take it with you. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have to pass this wealth and this knowledge down.
That was
so
very
it can keep being passed down from generation to generation. That's what other races do. That's what other people do.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So we got to get strong like that mentally, for real.
Hey, bro, and he's so right, man. He's so right. You know, these Arabs, you know, they come from their country and they come down here to America. They might be down here for about a year, probably less than a year. Next thing you know, they got a business popping up. They had that business right there at that corner store for probably a year to 2 years. The next thing you know, his brother got a corner store on the other side of town. And then they just start popping up. Boop, 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 boop. Next thing you know, that's all you see. Every store you go in, they in there. You know what I'm saying? It's like, we've been here. You know? Why are we not doing this? We've been here. You know, Vietnamese people, you know. I salute all of them. Big ups to all of them. But the only thing I'm saying is, let's get it like they getting it. Let's help one another. I just finished saying that. You know, they helping one another. You know, the Mexicans too. You know, they come here. They work for somebody for a while. Then they learn the trade. Then they get their own business. And next thing you know, they're everywhere. They're everywhere working. And they're doing it for a little less than what other people are doing it for. So now they getting all the jobs. Plus they work their ass off. You know, and I salute them. I salute them to the fullest. You know what I'm saying? Now it's time for us to salute ourselves and give ourselves a round of applause and a smack on the back. You know what I'm saying? We got to get it up there, fellas, man. We got to get it up there, man. We're losing. We're losing, bro. Our mentality and our ego is killing us. You know what I'm saying? It's killing us. We're losing, dog. Time for us to win.
We talked about him because during that Nick Cannon debacle, Diddy told him to come on home to revolt. We had a conversation on the podcast, and I said, with all due respect, I met Diddy one time in a nightclub. I was doing a detail for him, but I said he was full of shit. I said, because what has revolt really done for Black people that we've seen out here outright? All we've seen is criticism behind the scenes. What do you think about that? Am I too far-fetched to think that way when it comes to Diddy and Revolt TV?
I mean,
Diddy.
I really can't speak on it because I really don't follow really what Puff.
Hey man, all that was crazy, bro. And you know, it was real. Like I said, that man, I don't know how to explain. I don't know how to tell everybody we need to get it together. Only thing I can do is try. And I got me on that platform now. So, you know, too many people ain't tuned in, but they got some people tuned in. If you take and listen to what I'm saying and what I'm trying to get across, hopefully you'll be all right. Because don't forget, I was there too. I was running the streets and I was doing a lot of shit under the sun, heavy. You know what I'm saying? But it took certain situations to make me, you know, get back right. To certain situations. Now, every situation, every bad situation that you get in, don't necessarily mean it's bad. It may be bad at that time, but as time goes on, you'll see why you was in that position and why you got set down for a couple of seasons for a reason, you know. And when you're running the street and you're doing shit and shit keep happening to you, hey man, there's somebody trying to wake you up telling you, hey, now listen, you keep bumping your head and I keep putting you here and I keep putting you there, you know. You just don't know. Yeah, you got locked up last night, but you just don't know if you wouldn't have got locked up last night. If you would have seen what I seen, you know, you would have changed, but you just don't know it. If you wouldn't have got locked up last night, your mom and your daddy would have been crying, and your aunties and your uncles, because somebody was gonna put you on the ground. You know, sometimes we go to jail because of that. You know, sometimes we be on our way to go do something. We hustling hard, balling in the street. Now we on our way to go do something, and we get stopped by the police, and we wind up going to jail. Well, man, you probably had somebody waiting on you to sign your death certificate. You never know. But you got to take heed into the things that go on with you. Like the more people used to say, man, everything happened for a reason. Everything happened for a reason. But man, look, I'm about to get up out this joint, man. It was a pleasure chilling with y'all. You know, this is Juiceland TV. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be coming with some more shit, you know, all positive. You know, I ain't playing no games. I'm just trying to help my people and help my family in the process while I'm helping my people and let that light shine on people who haven't had a chance to get that light shined on. You know what I'm saying? Juiceland TV, man, I'm out. Y'all be safe out there.